Hello, and welcome to the Whitworth archival reading of an interview with an anonymous Nisei female conducted by Rose Slinger on September 9, 2002. The focus will be on her accounts of discrimination in the public and workplace. RS in each interview stands for Rose Slinger's words, and the Nisei female will be represented by NO. NO. And I remember my mother and I taking the bus downtown, and this bus driver, he just yelled and screamed and said, "We have two Japanese, good for nothing, and said such mean things to us, but everybody kept quiet, and gee, we were glad to get off the bus." NO. Well, anyway, they tried to find you a job, and they told me there were no jobs except housework. RS. Wow. NO. And she said there's a house up on the hill on Ninth, I think it was, and she said, if you would like to go there, work, they will pay you $2.50 an hour. Of course, in those days, money went farther too. So I said, well, fine, I'll try it. So I went up there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and she said, now I want this apartment thoroughly cleaned. And she said, I'll be back. Well, she left me till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I worked from 8 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then she came back, and she says, well, are you done? And I said, yes. And she went up with her finger, like this way, on the windowsill and all over, underneath, and she says, I don't think you did such a good job. She says, I'm sorry, but you're not worth $2.50 an hour. Here's $2.50 for your day's work. And she didn't even ask me if I had lunch or anything, which most people would. So I was hungry and I was practically in tears the way she talked to me. And to go around checking, and I told my mother when I got back, I cried and I said, I'll never take a job like that again. Of course, I don't think she, the employment agency woman, should have sent me to a place where all Navy officers' wives lived. Because there's prejudice right there, And she didn't even come back in to check. She just came back at 3 o'clock. And so she gave me $2.50 from working from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock, and I went thoroughly. I took everything off of everything and wiped everything down, but I think that was her way of getting back at me. And I did not say anything, I just said thank you and left, and I figured that might have probably hurt her more. And I'd never go back to that, so I told my mother I wanted to go back to school, so I went to school. Interviewee edit on the East Coast. RS. And didn't you say that you opened up your own shop, right? NO. Yes. Well, I went to, interviewee edit, a dress shop. Remember, there was a particular shop here before you were born. Well, at Davenport Hotel there was an exclusive dress shop, and I went to her to apply for a job, and she said, yes, I'll give you a job, but I even forgot what she offered, but it was, something cheaper than babysitting. And I said, well, that isn't very much. And she said, well, you're getting the prestige and the recognition. And I says, well, so much for that. I said, thank you very much, but I will not take the job. And she says, well, you're going to regret it. And I says, well, maybe so, but that's okay. And then I worked at, interviewee edit, another shop. RS. I've never heard of it. NO. Well, it was a very popular store here in town then. RS. Was that downtown too? NO. It was a very busy place, and it was a better store. Dresses. Interviewee comment. The shop catered to the younger group. Just like, what was the other one on the corner? I forgot. But anyway, it was a nice store, and he hired me to dress up the windows. RS. Oh, okay. NO. And then he changed his mind, because I'm Japanese, and the people are prejudiced, and they might not come in the store if they see me working in the window. RS. Oh my. NO. So he said, I need a fitter and doing alterations. So I took the job. And 1 month after I worked there, the lady that has worked there for years took 1 month vacation. And I had to take on the responsibility of fitting and doing the alterations. And so I said, well, I need a raise. And he says, well, you don't produce enough. He says, if you produce more, I'll give you a raise. And I says, well, if that's the case. Then he says, well, I'll give you $5 a week raise. And this woman that I worked with was getting twice as much as I was. And she told me I did as much work as she did. She says, you should be getting the same as I am. That's what the woman said. And she felt bad that I wasn't, And the next time I said, well, I worked here for a year. And I said, I think I deserve more than what I'm getting. And he says, well, I'm sorry. I said, well, I'm sorry too, because I quit. And I walked out. RS. Oh my goodness, wow. NO. And then I decided to start my own shop. But that only lasted a couple years because I got married.